Alright, so in my last video I compared the aim point with the Eotech, and there were some fair criticisms. We're going to address them now. But in the end I ultimately decided that I had liked the Acog better, but then I didn't bring an Acog on there. I don't know why I didn't do that, so let's compare all three. The Acog versus the Eotech versus the aim point, and look at the advantages and disadvantages of the different type of sighting systems. Which would be best for you, because typically, you don't go and buy all three and then test them out and see which one you like better and throw away the other two. So let's go over it real quick. Alright, first advantage that these red dots have over the Acog, like a serious advantage, when you have some sort of magnification, should this front lens get any sort of moisture or fogging on it or anything like that whatsoever, it's useless. A red dot, it can get wet and I can just take my wet clothing and get it dry enough and I'll still be able to use it. Yeah, I won't have the clear sight picture, but it's still usable. That's the same with the holographic or the red dot. Doesn't really matter because they don't have magnification. You're still able to use them when something gets on your front lens. With magnification, I don't know exactly the science behind it, but it like reflects the light so crazy style that you can't see anything through it. You'll see your reticle and then it'll just be blur. Especially if this back one gets on there. Now with the Acog, you have to have it so far away from your face because of something like an eye box. With this actually happened to me. So I pulled up on a deer. I kind of held my breath for a second. I broke my shot. It was like -20 out or something ridiculous like that. Anyway, I exhaled after I broke my shot. Accidentally blew right across the lens. Couldn't see shit. Couldn't make a follow-up shot, nothing. This was completely fogged out because of how close it needs to be to your face. So just like, bam! And my optic was done. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part, but that would have never happened with the red dot because these I put so much farther forward to keep my breath away from it. Again, not in colder climates, that don't really matter. But in hot climates, it actually works in the opposite direction. So say, for example, I was in an air conditioning car or a house or something like that, and I went outside where it's hot out. If it's humid out, you may not experience this in the south, but we do in the north because it gets really, really humid. So if you go from like air conditioning, outside, poof, instant fog. Well, with a red dot, as long as it's not like... Alright, so in Wisconsin, the time when this most happens is when it's really cold outside and then you go into a heated building. Because of the temperature change, it fogs out, and because your glass is so cold it turns to ice, so you can't wipe it off. But if that's not the situation, like let's say you're in the south and you're in air conditioning, but it's real humid outside, so then you come out of the air conditioning, your shit fogs up, well, you can just wipe that off on a red dot and still be able to use it. With something with magnification, that's not going to work. Because there's still a little bit on there and it has to be completely dry, otherwise you can't see through it. Again, the problem with the rain. If your optic's wet, well, you're probably wet as well. So you try to dry it off with wet clothing, you can't get it dry enough, you can't see through your glass. Red dot, not a problem. Next, batteries. The Acog, depending on the model, this particular model has a fiber optic, so it does not require batteries. And even if this was completely broken and blacked out, I still have an etched-in reticle in the glass, and I can use this, no matter what. No matter what happens to this little lighted thing, it's still usable. And it's even got tritium inside, so I can even use it in the dark. Yeah, I won't be able to see through it because this has magnification and it's dark out, but your brain will put the two images on top of each other. So if it's completely dark and I see a target, and I pull up, even though I can't see through my glass, my brain will put that lighted tritium reticle on top of my target, and I'll hit my target. Red dots, they have batteries. Now, I was a big fan of the aim point because this battery is supposed to last for 50,000 hours. That's 5 years on position 7. Well, I like position 6 anyway because my eyes are kind of bad. If I go up to position 7, it turns into a starburst. Position 5 isn't quite bright enough. I prefer position 6. Now, in my last video, I got a whole bunch of criticism saying I was running the wrong battery, or I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm the problem, not the greatest red dot ever known to man is the problem. No, it's me. First off, Aimpoint ships that with a battery. And that was the first battery that shit out. The one that they provided for their Optic, which I'm assuming would be the right battery. Second off, it doesn't need a special battery. It says right in the instruction manual, lithium, well, it says alkaline, but you can also run lithium. It doesn't really matter which one you run. You'll get a little bit better performance out of a lithium, obviously, because lithium isn't affected by the cold as much as an alkaline battery is, but you can still run alkaline just fine. It says it right in the instruction manual. I am not putting in the wrong battery. My battery is lasting about 2,000 hours. That's it. It's supposed to last 50,000. I would even be fine if it made it an entire year. I'd be happy with that. Now I get, every company, no matter how good they are, makes lemons. But Mr. Guns and Gear's Comp M5, which that's a Comp M5, and I can't think of the number of the Acog off the top of my head, so I'll just post it right here. And the Eotech is an XPS1. Mr. Guns and Gear, his Comp M5 shit out. It just stopped working altogether. My Comp M5 shit out. How many units do they possibly sell? Seriously, how many do they possibly... So out of those units, 2 confirmed failures. Do they sell 50,000 units? Do they sell 10,000 units? Do they sell 5,000 units? How many total units were sold and you have 2 confirmed failures that just happen to be on social media? How many other failures are out there? The point I'm trying to make is that is a high-end, top-tier, premium piece of glass. And there's been 2 failures with I don't know how many Comp M5 videos are out there. Just shit, take those numbers. How many Comp M5 videos are out there? How many are positive reviews with 0 failures? And then bring in just our 2 failures. What kind of a failure rate is that? That's ridiculous. $1,000? I'm spending $1,000 in order to get a quality piece of glass that doesn't fail. Okay, so let's move on from here. Night vision capable. You could probably do some sort of night vision setup with this. I think you'd actually have the night vision in front of it. I don't know. I'm not really up on night vision. I don't know a lot about it. I'm going to pretend that you can't use it. If you can, I'm sorry. But to the best of my knowledge, you can't. I think you'd have to run an IR laser and just do the whole fire like this thing. I could be wrong. Maybe you can look through this with night vision. I don't know. I'm assuming with the tritium in there, that would just wash out your night vision and you wouldn't be able to see through there, so you'd have to have a unit in front of there. I don't think you can run night vision with Acog. With this particular Eotech that's like 10 years old, this one didn't have night vision capable. It also did not have a QD release. It also does not have lens caps. This is night vision capable. It does have lens caps, and it does have a QD release. The Acog didn't come with lens caps. It did not come with a QD release. So that's something really nice about this Acog, is it's already set up, so you should just buy it, and it's ready to go on your rifle, saying it's not Mr. Guns and Gear or me, and their shit craps out. So let's press on. So, now I understand the newer Acog, or the Eotechs, have a longer battery life. I think that one's only like 60 hours or something like that. I think they got all the way up to the 1,000 hour now. I could be wrong. Maybe that one's 1,000 hours too, but I swear, because I've already went through like 9 batteries since I've owned that thing. There's no way I used it that many hours. I used it a lot. I did. I competed with 3-gun with it, and I've used it hunting several times. But there's no way that maybe I did. But I swear though that particular brand of Eotech doesn't have that long a battery life. Now, the newer ones do. I think they're claiming something like 2,000 hours or something like that, which is actually damn near what I'm getting with my Aimpoint. So, let's press on. Readiness. Like, okay, you're laying in bed, boom, your door gets kicked in. You hop up, you have all 3 of these rifles. How ready are they? Well, the Acog, you're going to have to flip up lens caps if you got them. If you don't got them, you're ready to go. Like, this is ready to go. Flip it off safety. You're ready to do some work. The Eotech, boom, your door kicks in. You got to hold on. Let me turn on my sight real quick. Turn it on. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready now. So let's do this. So this is not ready to go. Not at all. And a surprise moment, or let's say you're using it, like I had this happen, I was using it hunting, and I pressed the down button to turn it on, and I must have been hunting for more than 4 hours because game popped out. Shit. Turn it on, lost my shot. Ideally, you know, you'd understand the disadvantages of that, and you just play with the button every once in a while, press a different button, and make sure it stays on. But you're not going to do that in your sleep. Maybe you can. I can't. I can't reach over and press the button every 4 hours. So this is not ready to go. The aim point, this actually has a see-through cap. So now you're going to have to use the whole brain putting images together. But if I heard my door kicked in, I could grab this and go immediately. Like it's ready to go. I don't even have to flip the cap. I can flip the cap. It makes things easier, but I don't have to. The back cap's transparent. So like let's say I eat shit and I go down in the mud, not a problem. Flip the caps. I have clean glass underneath. Ready to go. So out of this category, without a doubt, the Eotech takes a failure. It's just not ready. Magnification. Well, with the Acog, unfortunately, you don't get a 0 magnification option unless you put a secondary sighting system on here. But this does come with magnification. And it's low enough magnification where it can also act as a red dot. Like I'm only looking maybe 5-10 yards away, and I can still see my target clearly. With the red dots, you don't get magnification. However, you can put a magnifier on there, and I'm telling you, they're badass. That's actually how I was running this Eotech until I ultimately gave it to my girl, was with a 3x magnifier that went to the side. So like if I was hunting, I could just turn the rifle like this, identify my target, and go back to my red dot and shoot. Or I could flip the magnifier up to do identification. That was really nice. I could make some really nice precise shots just having that 3x on there. And I would normally run with the 3x like in position unless I was walking and I thought I was going to jump something up. But normally in position, and then like if it snowed or it started raining on me or something like that, I would just flip it over because I could still use the red dot even though the magnifier wouldn't work because the lenses were wet. That's really nice. I like that a lot with the red dots. However, you put a magnifier on there, you're losing because it's adding weight. You have another piece of glass. Yeah, you don't need it. You can just strip it off should something happen to it. But you are adding more weight to the system, and you're getting a lot closer to the Acog weight. And even the price. This plus a magnifier, you're at Acog price. This plus a magnifier, you're over Acog price by a long shot. You're almost a third more expensive. So if you want a magnification on an aim point, why not just get an Acog? Speed. What do we got here? Well, the Eotech takes it in speed. You have a 1 MOA dot, and then you have a 65 MOA ring. And I'm telling you, like in a speedy situation, bringing up that 65 MOA ring is very easy to get on target. Plus you have such a large viewing window. That thing's huge on the aim point, or the Eotech. So that's definitely taking first place for speed. Second place would obviously be the aim point because there's no magnification and it's a red dot. However, this is a very, very narrow viewing window. So it makes sense to have it way forward to help you work with it, but it's like looking through a straw. So unless you pull up on your target perfectly, you got to find it. And then you got the metal of the aim point blotting out so much objects there, it's very easy to get lost and not be able to find it and kind of have to like use this eye, okay, there's my target, and then get over on it. The Eotech, it's very thin metal around, and you have a huge viewing window, super fast to get on targets. It really is. Now this, because it's 4x magnification, obviously it's a little bit slower. Obviously you can train with any of these and get faster, but if you put the same amount of training in each of these, it would literally go in this order for speed. 1, aim point, Acog. It's the way it is. Sorry. Alright, so what about reliability? Full disclosure, I've had the Eotech and the Aimpoint both fail on me. Now, neither of them have failed to the point to where it wouldn't work. With the Eotech, the inside of my lens got smudged, so instead of having a crisp 65 MOA circle, it looked like a bunch of 65 MOA circles, but the one MOA dot in the center was still there, so it was still usable. However, it was a pretty nasty reticle. I sent it in, they replaced it. This, obviously the battery life, I'm getting about 2,000 hours. It should be like 50,000 hours. That's terrible. That's a horrible failure because this is the major advantage over the Eotech when it comes to red dots. I mean, that's a holographic, but I just put them both, lump them in a red dot category, is this is always on. The idea is once a year you replace your battery and it will stay on forever. Just every year on your birthday or on New Year's or sometime when you'll remember, you just replace the battery and you keep it on so it's always ready to go. But again, that has had failures. This requires 0 batteries whatsoever. You got fiber optic, tritium, and then an etched-in piece of glass. So you have 3 backup systems on top of each other to make sure that you don't run into a failure. Which brings up another very important point. Why in the shit would I want to buy a sighting system that absolutely requires backup sights? Yes, I could grab my Scar by the muzzle and beat this against something and ultimately break this. Like, I get that. I do. But these can just be sitting there in the corner and break. Like, literally, the battery could corrode, the battery could leak, it can wash everything out, the inside of the glass can smudge. Without doing anything nefarious to this whatsoever, it can fail. And that is the same thing with the Aimpoint. Without doing anything nefarious, just leaving it sit on a rack, this can fail. That is terrible. So for a serious rifle, you want to put on a sighting system that is so unreliable, you literally need to have backup iron sights. Now I get having backup iron sights in case of shit. Like, I run out of ammunition, so I decide to use this rifle as a club to start taking down commies, and my glass shatters, so now I gotta take it off and flip to my backup sights. Like, I get that. Like having backup sights in case of shit. Something completely unexpected happens, or I'm like walking along and I see something, all of a sudden, zip, a bullet zips through here. Yeah, I get that. But I would feel totally comfortable having the Acog without any backup sights, because unless something crazy happens, I don't need a secondary sighting system. That is good to go. Red Dot, on the other hand, it would be stupid to call this a serious rifle without some sort of backup sight, because without doing anything crazy, without a bullet zipping through it, or using your firearm like a bat, this can break, and it has for me. That's nuts. Red dots and holograph sights are just nowhere near the level of reliability I would require to consider them on a serious rifle. As a matter of fact, as soon as I can afford it, this thing's coming off, I'm giving it away to one of you guys, and an Acog's going on. Do I need backup sights for this? Hell no. And honestly, when my channel gets big enough and I can afford it, I am literally going to put an Acog in a vise on an upper. I'm going to take this A2, probably not this one because I like this rifle, but another A2 rifle. I'm going to swing it like a bat. I'm going to knock the aim point off of the rifle, and we'll see which one still works. Just to show the reliability compromises you're making with going with a holograph or a red dot system. It's ridiculous. Someday they'll come up with some sort of technology that will make them ultimately reliable, so yes, you can have backup sights on it in case of shit, but you don't need them. The fact that you need backup sights for a red dot, and talk to any trainer, or any serious person out there, or any law enforcement officer, or any military person, they will tell you, you need backup sights for a red dot. They don't say you need backup sights for an A2. They don't say you need backup sights for an Acog, but it's nice to have them just in case. I mean, shit, there's not even a spot to put backup sights on here. Where the hell would I put backup sights on an A2? This rifle, there is no need for backup sights. Because again, unless I use this rifle like a club or a bullet zips through my glass, this will work just fine. So unless something crazy, unexpected that nobody could have planned for anyway, and what's to say that the bullet doesn't come through here, bust my backup sight, and hit my aim point if I'm willing to put those type of situations into consideration. You don't need backup sights for like an Acog or a scoped rifle or an A2 because they're reliable enough to where, yeah, it's possible. There is that possibility out there. Sorry about that, the camera battery died. So what I was saying is, yeah, it's possible one of these unforeseen circumstances is going to happen. It's also possible Angelina Jolie is going to walk into my house naked and want to bang, but I don't have any rubbers in the house, so I'm going to lose that opportunity. The point I'm trying to make is, yes, the possibility is out there. It's totally possible some crazy, just something nobody could plan for would happen that would break this. But it's so highly improbable that you don't need to have backup iron sights. Yes, you could have them just in case of shit, in case you're worried about something like that. Where this is going to have a failure. Without me even touching it. At some point, this will fail. Whether it's the battery crapping out or the battery corroding or something happening with the electronics. They just don't have the reliability and the technology for electronic sights on firearms yet to call them reliable enough to be a standalone sighting system. So let that sink in for a second. We could go with a sighting system that doesn't require backup sights, but you can have them on in case of shit. Or we can go with a sighting system that has the reliability so low on the reliability scale, it is absolutely mandatory that you have backup iron sights if it's any sort of serious rifle. The next disadvantage with electronics is you have to have, it's absolutely required, you have to have batteries on your persons or somewhere on your rifle. That is a must, just because the batteries can die. So, how do I rank these? Number one, I rank the Acog because of the ultimate reliability. There's 3 systems in here for fail-safes. So if the fiber optic shits out, well, I got the tritium. If the tritium shits out and the fiber optic shits out, well, it's still etched in the glass. The only way to take this down is to physically smash it. That's it. After that, I'm going with the Eotech. Because of the price difference, I could get this Eotech paired up with a magnifier and still be at where the aim point is. Plus, it has the large viewing window. I can select different reticles, which I can also do with the Acog. I can customize this to fit my particular needs. With the Acog, you can get a BDC reticle, you can get crosshair reticles, you can get reticles for different calibers. You can select a scope specific to your rifle to help your rifle do better. Same with the Eotech. With the aim point, you can have any reticle you want as long as it's just a 2 MOA dot. That's all you get is a 2 MOA dot. This will not add to your rifle's capabilities. All you're doing is you're putting a red dot on it and you're using your rifle with the red dot. You're not improving your rifle beyond what it can already do by adding in a BDC reticle or some sort of magnification or something like that. And like I said earlier, if I want to add magnification to this, I'm like a third more than an Acog cost. And then there's also the bad taste they left in my mouth. Both the Eotech and the aim point have broken. Yes, not broken to the point to where they're not functional, but they both have broken. This Acog was subjected to the exact same abuse those two were. And I think what takes them down is the fact that the gun's right in my trunk. Like, I always keep a firearm in my car just in case. You never know. The worst scenario in my head is I'm somewhere out of town and boof, I get hit by an EMP. Now, obviously, the electronic sights, those will also go down too. But I have to get home. And it's not really a big deal anymore because I don't drive truck, but I used to be quite a distance from home. And what if it took me several days, everything falls apart, next thing you know, you got people trying to take my shit. Like, I keep a rifle in there, so the sighting systems are subjected to G-force, all different temperatures, from -30 all the way up to like 120. They're bouncing constantly, they're sliding and smashing all over my trunk. No problems with the Acogs. None at all. I mean, yeah, there's quite a lot of finish dings on there, but no. Eotech and Aimpoint went down from that same exact abuse. And the magnification is nice. I really like the fact that this has 4x. And it has a BDC reticle in it. And it has 3 fail-safes to ensure, no matter what, when you pull this up, as long as nothing crazy happens, like a bullet zips through here, or you take it like this, and you beat a commie's skull in, like it's a freaking club, it will still work. All of these have held 0, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, my preference would go Acog. After that, Eotech. After that, way at the bottom, Aimpoint. That's how I feel about it. If you'd like to help support the channel, got my Patreon right there, and I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just clicking on those links. Even if you don't buy what that particular link is for, just clicking on that and then doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. A little kickback for because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.